I think we're seeing like a big increase all around, the different segments, not only on the automotive, but in banking, insurance,
Right.
critical infrastructure, even small and medium enterprises that are being hacked, and cybersecurity becoming like hot topic on board calls and board meetings in many of the companies. And companies are spending more and more money to secure themselves. And I think this is especially where everything becomes connected. This become more and more essential.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Lomitech, and sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and Birthright Excel, and in media partnership with CTech. Hello and welcome to 20-Minute Leaders, and hello Yoav Levy, co-founder and CEO of Upstream Security. Yoav is leading Upstream's strategic direction, culture, and business execution with over 17 years of experience in multinational high-tech companies and startups. He brings rich leadership experience in management, marketing, and business development of IT and security products, spanning over a dozen years of experience in category-leading vendors such as Check Point, Juniper Networks, and Broadcom.
Yoav Levy, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. How are you?
I'm all good. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining me. You're the co-founder and CEO of Upstream Security, but your entrance to the cybersecurity world is, it's for a long time now, whether it's with amazing companies like Checkpoint and many, many others, growing with different positions, particularly in the R&D space, but now also as an entrepreneur. And I'm excited to hear both your journey, but also about the automotive fleet space and cybersecurity with cars and fleets and how does that impact the car manufacturers, the people that are working with the cars? How is it impacting perhaps where the world is heading in terms of cybersecurity with vehicles? And so a lot for us to dive into. You have tell me a little bit about yourself and how do you find yourself so into the cybersecurity space?
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. So I actually started my career in the early days of the cyber days, like more than 20 years ago, working for Checkpoint in its early days. I think even before they were using the word cyber, they were calling it like firewall, but cyber was not being used so common in this time. And I actually met my partner Jonathan that time. And I spent my career in different startups and corporates around cybersecurity, data analytics, different positions, R&D, marketing, product. And I think that I always like, I would say, two things. One was my love to cars. I really love
Mm-hmm.
cars. And the second is around cyber. And I thought when I'm going to do something myself, it's going to be the combination between the two. So this is like
Very cool.
how we got up with the idea around, uh, connected vehicles could be dangerous if there are like someone hacking a vehicle, a connected vehicle while it's driving. That could be a safety issue. Who is going to be responsible on that? Especially when cars are becoming much more complex. So some of them are calling them like computers on wheel. So you can see in the
Yes.
Tesla on the right side, which super advanced. You can see autopilot. You can see connectivity, EV. Everything is configured, and everything could be done remotely. They're actually able to solve issues remotely by doing over-the-air update, and this is where we came up with the idea about Upstream and about the need to secure the connected vehicles.
Okay, so
So
obviously
I
in terms
think
of
that
timing, we're almost 5 years ago when Upstream Security starts, and this is obviously an interesting timing because this is when I think a lot of the hype and the buzz around autonomous vehicles is beginning, right? So I guess that was an interesting timing for you to also think through these ideas. But please continue.
yeah, exactly. So we started the company 2017. And when we started the company, we saw other companies that are trying to solve exactly the same problem around how do you make the vehicles more safe and more secure, around the connected vehicles and as well as autonomous vehicles and so forth. And when we looked at the other companies in the area, we said, we believe we should solve this problem in a different way. We believe that we can solve the problem without deploying any software or hardware inside the vehicle. Especially when we spent some time when we started, before we started the company, talking with car companies or talking with tier ones, when we said, this is a very complex process of adding hardware or software inside the vehicle that could take years. And when we looked at other companies that were very successful, like Mobileye and other, it took them like 7-10 years to get the first vehicle on the road with their technology. And we said, we don't have the DNA of waiting too much time before getting to production. We have, we're impatient people. We want to see results immediate. So, and this is when we came up with the idea about actually building a cloud technology, which means that once we deploy the technology, we can start monitoring the connected vehicles, start looking at data anomalies, and combine the two things that we love the most: cybersecurity and data, and vehicles. And this is how we came up with the idea about Upstream.
So then obviously there's different challenges that you're presented with, one of which is the manufacturers and how do you actually integrate with the cars. You mentioned before that it's not simple to just put hardware or software within the cars, and long sales cycle, long manufacturing cycles. How do you go about solving them, leveraging the cloud?
Right. So think about Upstream as like an after-sales type of solution, like a solution that is not getting into the production cycle of the vehicles. So there is a production cycle that you have to design vehicle, you have the suppliers to assemble the vehicle, test it. It can take many years. We're actually like a cloud solution, an IT solution that we deploy it in the cloud of the car manufacturers. Sometimes they call it like OEMs, or the fleet owners. And what we're doing, we are leveraging data that these companies are already collecting from their vehicles. So we're only talking about connected vehicles. We're only talking about services that are running on top of this connectivity. And we leverage the data that is already being collected in order to run data analytics or security analytics on the data in order to find anomalies that could be indication of compromise, indication of attack. And we're now actually building additional applications beyond cybersecurity that can help us to detect anomalies that are related to failures of ECUs, which are like computers inside the car, or failures of different systems inside the car. And maybe also in the future, we'll build predictive maintenance, the ability to predict these failures. So what we're trying to build here is a very strong data platform, purpose-built for the automotive market, that will help our customers on one hand to secure their connected vehicles, but on the other hand, also to monetize their data.
So taking back to the founding of Upstream Security, you want to deal with cars, you want to deal with autonomous vehicles. And how do you even get started? How do you get started trying to even test to see whether a POC that you've built works? How does one even enter a market like this?
Yeah. So first, we actually went and did like a market validation. So we talked to many of these car manufacturers, tier ones, fleet owners, and we saw that this problem is something that they have people that call like CISOs, the chief security officers, where part of their responsibility is also to make sure that the vehicles are secure. So I said, okay, this is good news. We have someone that is actually care about securing their vehicles. And if you think about essentially, what we're doing, we're actually securing the product that the company builds. It's not securing their data center. It's actually securing their product and securing the company itself. And so what we have done, We have done some market validation that included small POCs, different different conversation that we had with prospects, and then we went and we saw, okay, there is a great potential here. Let's go and raise money, and
Right.
we raised our seed round 4.5 years ago from two venture capitals, Glilot Capital and Maniv, which are great partners from day one to the company. Amazing help that we're getting from these VCs. Up until now, we've done 4 financial rounds. We've just completed our C round. We haven't announced it on it yet, but I would say that the C round is significantly high amount of money. We're going to announce it in the next couple of weeks, which is
Amazing.
great. So the company is well financed, and this is like how we started.
And so, where are you today positioned with the car fleets and with the technology? Where is Upstream Security today in the world?
Yeah. So Upstream today is definitely the leader in this segment. We created the segment of automotive cybersecurity cloud-based. We're leading this segment, and today we have many car manufacturers that we have a production and commercial agreements with, which means multi-year commercial agreement, real vehicles on the road. So we have millions of connected vehicles that we're monitoring today as part of our platform, both in the US, in Europe, as well as in Japan. And it's actually growing. So we expect to get actually double digit of millions of vehicles by next year. Sorry. So this is each of our customers are actually growing the number of vehicles they have organically because they are manufacturing more connected vehicles, but also we're adding new customers. So Upstream, by the way, we have 3 large car manufacturers that invested in the company: the Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi, called Alliance, Volvo Group, and Hyundai Group. But we also have other customers as well, other than the one that invested in Upstream.
So once you have these 3 organizations invest back in Upstream, how does that impact your ability to not obviously with the finances you're able to then scale up your operations, but how does this partnership impact the way that you then position the product, be able to validate what happens from that point on?
Yeah. So you can think first, it's a bit strange, right? You see companies that are competing with each other that investing in the same company, which is not very common, right? Because sometimes, you want a company to invest in you, so they want some kind of exclusivity. But I think that for cybersecurity, this is different, because what the car manufacturers are actually want is that we will have a lot of customers, so we will gain a lot of knowledge and insight from the industry, and then we can secure them better and we can do a better job. So this is one thing. The second is around, in the automotive industry, it's having a car manufacturer invest in you. It's a good sign of credibility that sometimes startups in this domain needs. Mainly because there are hundreds of different, maybe thousands of different startups in the auto tech industry. Now, who's going to work with these large OEMs that they need to pick one partner, right? Better chances if we have 3 or actually 5 car companies, the Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi, Volvo, and Honda invested in Upstream, and we have other customers that are doing reference call for us to win new accounts. So from their perspective, seeing so many strategic investors invested in Upstream is a good sign for credibility.
Right. So as cars are becoming more intelligent, moving to the cloud, the connectivity, are you also thinking about other verticals, perhaps that other young entrepreneurs can examine? Where else is the world shifting, where cybersecurity is going to have to play an interesting role in the development of these connected devices?
Yeah, so we're looking at two different segments today. One of them, so one of the companies that led our C round called Mitsui Sumitomo Insurance. It's a very large Japanese insurance company. And we actually have another insurance company called Nationwide. It's a US based insurance company. And the reason they're invested in Upstream is because of our knowledge in connected car data and how this data can be used for insurance use cases, both on understanding better the risk around the driver, like how do you drive?
Right.
Maybe we can build a specific pricing for you based on your driving experience.
Sure.
And second is like how do you handle claims? Like can we help you to be more efficient during the claim process by using your connected car data and detect car accident in our platform um, and help them to actually becoming more efficient in this area as well, improving the customer experience and so forth. So definitely insurance is an area that we started building our technology and solution. And the other thing that we're looking at is smart mobility a bit wider than just vehicles. Vehicles is definitely where we put like 90% of our effort today. But we've started to look at other things like, everything that moves. We call it smart mobility. That could be connected drones, connected boats, connected trains, rowboats, whatever, everything that moves and provide some kind of service. And this is on our vision where we are going to go next.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your relationship with cybersecurity. I think I know outside of Israel, it's not that common to be working in the cybersecurity space. What is it about cybersecurity that really gets you going? You've been in the space for almost 2 decades now. What is it?
Yeah. So first, I really like the defensive part. Like, I think we're seeing like a big increase all around, the different segments, not only on the automotive, but in banking, insurance, critical
Right.
infrastructure, even small and medium enterprises that are being hacked, and cybersecurity becoming like hot topic on board calls and board meetings in many of the companies. And companies are spending more and more money to secure themselves. And I think this is especially where everything becomes connected. This becomes more and more essential, and becomes like something. It's not like nice to have like it used to be like maybe a
Sure.
few years ago. This is something that is mandatory, and I think what's really attract me around cyber is is the ability actually to help the organization to run their business smoothly. And actually this is something that we understand and know best from all other areas. So doing cyber for 20 years from the early days, started from the bits and bytes in firewall network firewalls, going into application level, and now going into more complex big data and security analytics solution. This is what I do best.
Amazing. Okay, so I want to take you back into your childhood before you become a cybersecurity expert. What really fascinates you? What really sparks your curiosity?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. So I think that putting aside the startup, what really interesting me is I really love sport. I really love surfing. I'm actually wave surfer, kite surfer. Now I'm doing like stand-up paddleboard surfing on waves and paddling. I actually love it. I'm trying. The reason I love it is because you can actually do it very early in the morning,
Yes.
before you actually go to work. So this is something that I love. In startup days, you have less time, so you need to be more efficient. It's not like there is wind. I can I can drop everything and go to the beach. Unfortunately,
Right.
but I this is like something that I love to do.
Amazing. And if you look today and the things that inspire you to continue working so hard and drive this company forward, whether it's personal or professionally, what really inspires you?
Yeah, I'm actually watching, the Olympics. Actually, at the end of every day on the Olympics, I watch the summary, and I'm looking at these athletes, and I'm inspired. Like, they're devoting their life to, becoming a pro and a medal Olympic, and you can see like what they're doing. This is like so inspiring. I'm saying, well, wow, how this, this is what they're doing from when they were like 5 years old to now. Such a dedication and mental strength, and I think it's amazing. So, just remind me about, I'm looking at these athletes, and this is really inspiring.
I love it. And what are 3 words that you would use to describe yourself?
Yeah. In Hebrew it's called taktekan, but I think that in English is like get things done.
Yes.
Not always like perfect, but I'm usually get things done.
I love it. So it's getting things done.
Yeah, getting things done.
I love it. Great. Yofi. Yoav, toda raba. Thank you very, very much. This was really, really great. And I'm happy to hear about the amazing progress with Upstream Security and making connected cars be more secure. It makes me feel a little bit safer for when I'll drive in a connected car, hopefully in the next few years. And so best of luck, and thank you for the inspiration, for the time. And stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for inviting me.